G'day, this is Carl. Welcome to the second episode of the Belligerent Digger podcast. Today we're going to do a bit of a book review and discuss some charity stuff that's coming up. And won't be answering any questions this week because none were sent in since last week. So let's get on with it. Also this week our special deal is still the gym towels. $10 each, 100% cotton, about 70 centimeters by 30 centimeters, with a pineapple embroidery logo. Pretty good quality. It's just that the bit of a factory second. The backside of the embroidery is a bit funky. There's a few loose threads and that sort of stuff. I can't be bothered cleaning them up, so I'm going to get rid of them for $10 each. So I've been meaning to do a book review of Rob Langdons' The Seventh Circle for a few months now. It's been a bit of a work in progress and it's taken way too long, so I think basically I'll just discuss it on the podcast here. Give Rob a follow on Instagram as well if you've got that particular platform. I'll see if I can pull up his Instagram handle. It's all one word, Rob Langdon, ROBLANGDON 319. I think he's currently back overseas doing some gigs. But so he wrote a book that came out somewhat recently called The Seventh Circle, and it's subtitled A Former Australian Soldier's Extraordinary Story of Surviving 7 Years in Afghanistan's most notorious prison. So he's a ex-1RAAF recon dig who ended up doing some jobs overseas for a few years and got himself in some bother and ended up in prison for some time. The book starts out basically describing his arrest and talking about how he was probably a couple of minutes away from getting away free, getting on a plane, flying out of there. But in reality, who knows what else would have happened. I think his ideas were either to fly out or drive to, it was fly out of either of two airports, because otherwise you're pretty much going to drive to Pakistan or something. There's not many other options there. Goes through him being in remand, the NDS picking him up and luckily not getting killed by them initially, and then discusses what he'd done, bit of background story, growing up in the bush, and looked at a bit of his early time in the jail as well. So yeah, prison in a first world country in a high security institution is not really a nice place, and you can get in a lot of trouble for different things. But being in a rundown joint in a third world shithole would be pretty unimaginable, and he's really put up with some fairly degrading experiences in there by the sounds of it. And yeah, it goes through a few other bits, and then also describing the actual incident itself. Basically, we ended up with a dead Afghani, and that created some dramas for him. I don't want to get too in depth with how the book goes, but basically it's a really good read. And it's an easy read too. It flows along really well. It's engaging, and you'll find yourself really turning the pages on this thing. And for those of you that aren't big readers, it's good to go. Large, well-spaced text, and the best thing in that book is for those of us that grew up reading army novels back in the days. There's a bunch of photos in the middle, so if you really don't like reading, at least you can look at them. So yeah, I think you can pick this book up at most bookshops, like is it QBE, Dimmicks. Used to be able to get it on Amazon. Now you've been blocked from America. I haven't checked the Australian site yet, and I'm not sure if there's like an electronic form, but you can get it. It's out there. I suggest you go grab it and have a read. It's definitely an interesting insight into contracting, what can go wrong with contracting and all that sort of stuff, and the lack of top cover you can experience. So yeah, check it out. So besides the Seventh Circle from Rob Langdon, I think we'll also have a bit of a look at Willie. I'll just pull up his Instagram here to have a look at. So I'm still not sure what his Facebook is, but if you check out his Instagram account, it's willie.beating.cancer. So it's Matt Williams. He's a 7RR dig who's currently battling brain cancer. He's raising funds and awareness for research into brain cancer and that sort of stuff. And he's just kind of showing his journey with chemo and all the other stuff he's got to endure with it. He's currently got a GoFundMe running at the moment, which I think he's nearly met his goal. But if you want to have a look at that, check it out. I'll have a link to all that stuff below. And he's also running a little fundraiser in person as a little, well, I won't say little, tire flipping exercise on the 27th of October at 10 a.m. From the Largs Bay Jetty to Semaphore Jetty. So pretty decent slog there. We're going to put up a bit of a prize for people. And yeah, so you can donate or turn up, flip the tyre, do a few bits and pieces. But it'd be good to give him a bit of a hand there. Shut up. So yeah, that was 27th of October, 10 a.m. Better double check that's correct. Yep, 27th of October, 10 a.m. Largs Bay Jetty to Semaphore Jetty. Check him out. Well, that about wraps it up. Don't have any stories for you this week. If any digs want to send in some funny anecdotes or even want to consider some sort of interview in the future, feel free to email me at carl@belligerentdigger.com and we'll figure something out. So for now, I think I might do some shout outs this week to some well wishers and stockists, etc. So the post office on base at RAAF Base Edinburgh, they stock our PT shorts, undershirts. They got some stubby holders, some stickers, and I think they're going to have gym towels and stuff like that. So check them out because they've been good. They've been supporting us. Have a look at Baseplate Photography on Facebook. It's run by an ex-Mortars dig, hence the Baseplate, and he does some real nice nature photography there. Have a look at Cody's Art. That's Cody with a C-O-D-E-Y. He's up in Brisbane and get some of his artwork put in the Army Rag. He's also done a lot of logo work for us, and he's good to go. Shout out to Real Australian Mean Corps, Head of Mission, sharing everyone else's posts and stealing the limelight. Well done. If you are a dig or an ex-dig, check out Help a Digger Out on Facebook. I think it's a closed group, but you should be able to just apply and get in. It's run by Wally Woll. I think he is still doing a podcast, but yeah, so he's set that up to for digs to help other digs out. It's good to go. Check out Second Rodeo Clothing. That's run by a former ARA soldier. More catering to your country types, but if you're interested in that sort of stuff, have a look. And also the Homeless Initiative. We're still figuring out what we're going to do with these guys, but it's run by a former workmate, Shifty, and he's trying to raise funds to get some swags or backpacks, that sort of stuff, manufactured for homeless. So that's a good thing to do. Check him out. The Core Shop, we're always tagging them in our posts. They've got a bunch of our PT gear. And have a look at Tack Mud Model. I think he's Tack Mud, and he has Tack Mud Model kits for sale. He's got a new Gucci setup, which has got every imaginable image you could possibly ever need for an O group. Check out Aaron Pegram, Dr. Aaron Pegram, Aaron. He's on Facebook. He's just written a book on VC winners, I believe it is. Hopefully we're going to be able to do some sort of giveaway for him in the future. He's been kind enough to write a bunch of blog posts for us in the past, and he's senior historian at the AAWM, the Australian War Memorial, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, but he's a very knowledgeable guy and really nice person to boot. And also, I never know how to pronounce this, Nyati Blades, Nyati. I think he's also running 50/50 Knives. Another, I think he's a Queensland-based bloke. Used to be infantry, and he makes all sorts of sharp objects. So check that out. And also Max Force Tactical. They stock our clothing as well. So have a look at those guys. One last one will be Scorpion Projects up in Townsville. They don't actually stock any of our gear, but he does a lot of shit posting on Instagram and Twitter, so you should probably check him out. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Joels.